Hi, Kalpesh. Wonderful to see
Mm.
you here. And
Thank you so
let
much.
me just introduce myself a little. And I'm Meenakshi M Singh. I'm an author of 5 books, a novelist, and a poet. I'm founder of a women empowerment organization called She the Shakti. And I'm happy to pursue this path of passion. And we would want our viewers to know about you a little, Kalpesh.
I'm a poet by accident, really, because I am a serial tech entrepreneur. I have successfully run and exited 2 tech businesses in the past. I am the president and CEO of a financial technology services company called Agile Financial Technologies. That's who I am. I write uh, as a passion. Writing poetry is more passion for me, which is what I've been doing ever since I've been a very young child. Um, I decided to publish somewhere around last year, and I think the book did these was reasonably well accepted. And I'm in the path of writing another book, which is a business uh, book, which predominantly learnings from my journey as an entrepreneur. Title of that book is Anywhere But Here, and that is a collection of stories.
Okay. So that's
That's
prose
but real
version.
life stories drawn from experience and coupled with poems. But my first book was Jasmines In Her Hair, which was a poetry book,
Which we are going
which
to
talks
talk
about
about
which
now.
we're going to talk about now. Right.
Yeah. So, poetry originates from the word poesis, which means to create. And through writing, through creating these words, these books, we all are, I believe, trying to reach homes. And your
Right.
book, yeah, is a beautiful journey to that, reaching homes, where you beautifully explores the theme of love, passion, vulnerability. So I just want to know from you, Kalpesh, that what inspired you to write this book? How did the theme it come in your mind, and how much time you took to write this entire book?
So I think in and around me, I think as it progresses, I come from a fractured relationship, and one of the things that has always stayed, even though let's say there was a divorce and everything else, is that the respect for the partner never went away on both sides. And I realized that gratitude plays a massive role in sustaining, even if the nature of the relationship changes, gratitude plays a significant role in terms of nurturing the other person, even if you're not in the relationship. Whereas if you look at traditionally, you say, okay, you're divorced or you're separated or you're broken up, why do you need to even speak with the other person? But you may have a long history that can't be taken away, and that needs to be brought into play. So I think one of the motivations to write the book was to essentially explain how you may get entangled with passion, and then you get disillusioned, and what are the reasons why you get disillusioned. So if you look at each poem and the journey, so you'll see that okay, there's initial passion, and it's like young love. Then it moves into this period where you're getting to know each other, there's disillusionment. Then what happens, and what do you go through when you actually go through the breakup? How do you make yourself whole? And what are the internal thoughts that we go through to do that? And if you look at all through that entire process, we're grounded in gratitude. So we make sure that, when you're communicating in each of the pieces, even though, okay, there's heartbreak or whatever else that we may talk about, let's not forget that the grounding principle is gratitude.
Definitely,
So if
and
you look at
yeah,
so if you
I'm
look
a
at the
big
title of the
believer
book,
of gratitude. I'm a
right?
practitioner of gratitude.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
been 10 years I've been writing gratitude journals, and
gratitude. Very
my
good.
children also do that. So I'm a big believer of power of gratitude. And as you said,
Absolutely.
even the relationship keeps evolving, but if you have that gratitude within your heart that
Correct.
it happened for a reason and it had
Correct.
good stored in it, whatever, we can't measure anything by the outcome of it because the journey is what matters.
Correct.
Right. Yeah.
And therefore, the title of the book. So, the title of the book, Jasmines in Her Hair, comes in from the way we put the flower on our deities in India.
Deities, yeah.
Okay,
And
so
jasmines are my
we
favorite flower too. So
Is that okay?
really love the title. I'm born in
Right.
May, so around that time it just
It
the
blooms. Yeah.
jasmines bloom a lot here. So it's my
Very
favorite
good.
flowers. My parents used to gift me on the birthday morning, so I really have a special
Excellent.
connection with the jasmines. Yeah,
Jasmine, Bra-
really
excellent.
lovely. Yeah. So this book, Jasmines In Her Hair, is divided into seven sections, like Prelude, Yesterday's Embers, Resilience, Rediscovery, and Memories, and Serendipity and Alchemy. So it's a journey. It's a journey
Correct.
of redemption in love, I think, through
Correct.
various relationships.
Correct.
So I would like to know from you that, writing for me, it is a cathartic process, right? Helping us process our emotions, channelize our emotions,
Correct.
and then for me, it really healed me, it liberated me. So I just want to know from you, like how the journey of writing this book personally healed you, and how do you use poetry as a medium for catharsis, basically?
So funnily enough, what happens is that at the end of every meeting, even if it's a business meeting that I'm in, or at the end of every conversation, I've been habituated to think through what transpired. So I'm a student of neuro-linguistic programming, just to give you a perspective,
NLP.
and
Yeah.
and I apply that in my business. So, if I'm a very strong believer in the power of language. And
Mhm.
what happens then is that, I would say, okay, the conversation didn't go as I planned. But, and NLP teaches us that the onus of the communication is on us, not on the other person receiving it. So how did I converse such that it happened? So it helps me analyze the process better. And the way for me to distill those thoughts is to basically write it in rhyme. So even if it's a business note that I'm taking, which is an important point, you might find me writing a quick rhyme. It's just habitual. I'm just habituated to do that. And fortunately, unfortunately, whichever. So people at work do not know that maybe a few of them know by now because it's been in and around, but most of them do not know that I've actually launched a poetry book, which is a romantic poetry book, so to speak, as well.
Okay, okay, okay.
But yeah, so I mean, to answer your question, cathartic, I think I do not know if I would use the word catharsis because I think for me, what you said, it helps me process my thoughts better.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's just about it. So, I mean, I don't want to end up justifying what I did because it's too late already. Whatever has transpired has transpired. But whether it's a business outcome or a personal conversation, if it didn't go, if the conversation did not land the way I wanted to land, then basically, I want to take the onus on myself and then understand what is it that I did differently. That's basically where poetry helps me distill that process.
Lovely, lovely. As the book unfolded, I read there was a lot of rich usage of metaphors like dead skin not being used, and many
Right,
other like dog-eared pages. I would like to read two lines from one poem, The Final Embrace, which said at
right,
the end of it, sometimes love is like a book left incomplete with dog-eared pages we go back to read. So how
right.
beautiful. So I just
Thank you
want
so
to,
much.
yeah, it's the usage of metaphors is really crafty. And so how do you think that we poets need to be observers of the world? And how do you come up with these metaphors?
I think we are observers, right? I mean, I think the very fact that you're a poet yourself. So, the very fact that you can craft these sentences together that, emerge lyrical and, land beautifully and on the sound of other people. Like if you look at poetry, for example, I think one of the reasons why I like poetry as a medium is because it's appealing to the ears, right? And when it's appealing to the ears, people may want, I mean, at least good poetry is appealing to the ears. So if the poem is good, then it lands well on the ears, even if you're not speaking it. And at that time, I think it resonates better and people introspect better with those words, as opposed to just simple written, as a simple advice that may be given. So if I were to say are poets observers, I think absolutely. We are learners, right? We learn, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
what we learn and the distinctions that we gain are what we are now putting down in our poems. Like when we
Yes.
say dog-eared pages to read, I mean, like whatever it is, if you have good memories, how do you know they're good memories unless you keep revisiting them?
Yeah, we preserve them in some way.
Some
Some we
pocket,
take
right?
some
So yeah,
measures.
so
Yeah, true.
correct. Very much like, if I did not have a bookmark and I would just fold the pages of, the book to a page where I want to go back and read again and again. So that's how it is. So you relate in that way, so, or whether, you words seem heavy, and they fall like rain, like, so typically if you're sitting silent with a partner, there's another poem which talks about bookends, where the partners are sitting separately and, there's complete silence. And when silence becomes so overburdening, or overbearing, at some point in time, the rain will fall and, words will spill out, right?
Yeah.
So it's not
There's
going to
a lot
remain.
about unspoken feelings and
Right.
unspoken love,
Yeah.
which I am truly a proponent of, because I also believe the thing which is not said, which is unsaid, is really beautiful. Yeah,
Right.
that's more effective.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think
So
you've probably seen that theme also in the book, I guess. Also.
yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
many a places. There were occurrences
Right.
of that. So with that, moving on with that, I feel that your poems, your poetry seems to be quite of confessional form. Yeah, it's deeply personal. It seems very personal, but yet it has some kind of, universality to it. As we say, it resonates with the universal emotion, because love is timeless. Love is
Right.
common for all of us. We all have hearts, we all love, and that's why we exist. So I want to know from you that from where did you get that much courage to be this vulnerable? Because it takes a lot to be this vulnerable and to admit to the world that I went through underwent this journey. And you must I mean, it must have taken a lot from you to be this vulnerable. So how did you balance and came up with this much courage? I would like to know from you.
So you're going to get a very stupid answer to that one. Because
I'm
I
all
think
ears.
I did not feel vulnerable whilst publishing the book. I felt vulnerable after I published it. And I said, oh my God, I am going to be, how am I going to now, if my clients find out and my employees find out, how am I going to act, put on the tough exterior when they know that I wrote a mushy book?
Hmm.
So that's the that's where the vulnerability came in. But yeah, to be very honest, I think I have always been someone who doesn't hesitate to share. I mean,
Hesitate to
even in
stare.
share. I do not
Stare.
hesitate to
Okay,
share.
okay, okay.
Okay, so I mean, whether it is a vulnerable moment or if it is something that I feel. So let's say, for example, even whether it's an employee or a partner, if there's something that I'm going through in my mind, which is a result of their action, I will state it as it is, and first get it off my chest. I don't hold back, and keep going back. I don't want to keep revisiting it and saying, "Oh, you did this." Then I'm off it. It's off my memory. I've got a memory of a goldfish. So once I've offloaded it, let's say you and I have an argument, and then you said something that hurt me. I will offload it onto you, and that monkey is off my shoulder. It's onto you. So that, in a way, is vulnerability in the sense that I am telling you that, listen, what you said to me makes me feel like this. This is what's happening to our relationship, and this is how it's impeding our communication. I'll share it like that.
I
So I think I've
I
always
think
been
I
trained
also
to
believe
do
in
so. So
living lightly, uh,
right,
uh, being in that moment and then just, forgetting about everything. It's a way to
right,
live freely and lightly. It's a good way to live.
absolutely,
Yeah.
right, absolutely,
Otherwise, we poets are very sentimental people, and if there are no grudges, no, regrets, then we can definitely create more happiness, create more
correct.
connection with the world, right?
And
Yeah.
I've seen dark poets too. People who've gone through, I mean, with all due respect, I mean, gone through trauma, and they find that, writing about their trauma is cathartic for them. And but they write for themselves, right? They want
Yeah,
to write for
like
themselves. Maybe
whenever,
they,
there is an accumulated emotion and we pen it
right,
down, we feel
right,
lighter. And to have that
exactly.
courage
So
to share with the world is really
right,
beautiful. And for me, there were many. moments in life and experiences in life, whenever I penned it down, if I had that courage to, to claim that it's confessional, it's okay. Otherwise, we name it just fictional, and we don't own it like it's our
Yeah, yeah.
personal story. But then we share it with the world through fictional
Correct.
characters. Uh,
Absolutely.
it's basically feeling lighter. Yeah.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
Yeah. So, Kalpesh, would you like to read or recite a particular poem from your book
One of my
to our
poems.
audience
Okay,
and readers?
let me pick up. I just remember to carry a book because I'm sitting here and I almost didn't get it.
Yeah, it's always good to carry your own book, and
Yeah.
yeah,
I know.
whenever
Neha keeps
whenever you
telling me,
need it.
have you not, why don't you carry books and why don't you distribute it? I said, okay, I'll get them. So just 1 second, I'll look for it. So it's a poem that I've written on my birthday, on my 52nd birthday. And it's called I Raise My Glass to Another Year.
Okay.
I raise my glass to another year. No flights of fancy, no delusions, no fear. It takes a moment to recognize that face in the mirror, blurry eyed and yet a vision clear. Graying temples, crow feet around the eyes, weather beaten hands, tell signs of the wise. No longer indestructible in body and soul, a boy that's turned into a man that's holy. Forgiveness comes easy. I've learned to let it be. Determination ingrained, energy a skill. Have I reached my pinnacle? I doubt I ever will. I revere those who've held me, the bonds that tied and ones I've set free. I've walked down life's highway, made a difference, and found my way. I have my sights on what I'm looking for. I'll steady my pace. I'll be ready for more. Grateful to those who put in their lot to build a life stream. A prayer for those who chose to step back in the fear that the ship would lose steam. Looking back at a time that's passed, lives that have touched, loved, or lost, doors once open, now bolted fast, or bridges burned that I'd once crossed. I've got a sun in my eye and the wind on my face. Every challenge shall be countered, every opportunity embraced. I'm now the beacon and the shore. I've caught my breath and I'm ready for more. Every milestone achieved will be a goal fulfilled. Every bridge crossed will be one that I will build.
Lovely.
So, thank you.
Great, great.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, Kalpesh, as I was reading your book, it was went through, the navigating through complexities of love and self-worth. So,
right.
what do you think that, the journey of significance of loving yourself as we evolve through our experiences and relationships? Because many a places I read about, like, it's not about you, it's about me, and phrases like I choose me or I did it for myself. So I gather from the poetry that, this journey was reaching to home and having that feeling of being enough, right? And so
Right.
I just
So
want
imagine
you
this,
to
right? I
share
mean,
some
yeah,
thoughts on that. Yeah.
absolutely. So just imagine this, like, when you have when you reach a stage where, let's say, the relationship fractures, it's very natural to, at some point in time, think, was I not enough? Is there something wrong with me? Is there, am I, those thoughts keep coming into your mind. And I think it's important that for you to get past that hurt or get past that those emotions, it is important to first heal yourself, right?
Right.
You can't say that I want to heal myself without first saying that I am in love with myself. I love who I am. This is it. It does not mean that you're egoistic. It basically means that, you have accepted and embraced who you are. That's what it
As they
means.
say, being selfish, be having that self-love is not selfish, right?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that distinction people would not understand. I'm saying it's not about saying that, listen, I am being selfish and I'm putting myself above you. All I'm saying is, listen, I'm only accepting who I am. I'm not, like you had said, that, am I not enough? I am enough, you know, and
I
that's
wrote a
the,
book, I Am Enough. So that's the
you did?
title.
Okay. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm glad to have met you. I think I'm going to go and catch up on my reading now.
Yeah, a few of my books. Yeah. So I think it's a milestone in our lives that we reach to that point wherein we embrace our uh, everything about ourselves, be it our flaws, be it our quirks, be it our characteristics, anything. Because as they say कि एक भरा हुआ घड़ा ही दूसरे की प्यास बुझा सकता है, right? You can
Correct,
quench
correct.
others' thirst by
Absolutely,
being full yourself. If you do not
absolutely.
have love within, how will you spread that love around you or your surroundings? So you have to
Correct,
be happy and content first. So it was lovely to, read that conclusion through the book that, it's not about you or it's about me. I
right,
had self doubts, but now I've come to a point where I know myself and,
correct,
I celebrate myself the way I am.
right,
Yeah, being
right,
comfortable in your own skin and heart. I think that's a
correct.
beautiful conclusion. So
And
there
like
are,
and like and that's what I said. Regrets are like dead skin, very easily removed. So you don't have
yeah,
to. You
it's
know,
always good to get that pedicure, get that manicure,
exactly.
and get
Exactly.
those things removed as early as possible, right?
Right,
Uh, so,
right.
the love is not easy. As they say, there's a quote in my book from Ursula Le Guin. It's a beautiful quote that it says, "Love just doesn't sit there like a stone. It has to be made like bread, remade all the time, made new." So there's a lot of work is needed into the relationships, into sustaining any relationship, putting in your efforts, time, and patience, and everything. So, what's your take on modern relationships? Like, so, so,
Like Tinders and the Bubbles.
huh?
Tinder and the Bumbles.
Yeah, Kinder and the Bumbles and everything, and
Tinder. I think it's I think it's very different. I
sustaining
think
the modern relationship and um,
I think the relationship model has changed. Okay, and I think it's time that I'm 56. At some point in time, I think if I were to go back and see how the relationship process has changed. One of the other reasons why I wrote this book is that I saw so many fractured relationships around me. A lot of friends who've gone through their own pace, and then we look back, and even my ex-partner and I, when we look back and say, okay, these guys, they don't talk to each other no more. you know and we wonder why, because they used to be so close at one point in time. And I feel that the burden of the relationship is kind of disappearing to a great extent. It's a lot easier for the younger generation to walk away from a relationship than it was for us at our at my generation.
yeah,
So I think this is something that I've seen as an easy shift. I mean, I've seen that okay, if something's not working out, I can walk away very easily. And I don't understand that bit, because in fact that's actually the beginning of my book as well. So the three little words that mean a lot are not "I love you," it's "no matter what."
no
So you
matter
want to
what,
sustain
I'm
a
there for you.
relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
no matter what, no matter what the
yeah, no matter
circumstances,
what.
we need to make it work, right? That's the no matter what. So I think if you, this is where I think the essence is missing in today's day and age.
Yeah,
This
true.
this whole concept of no matter what, I have not seen in as many relationships as I wish I could.
Yeah,
So I
accepting each
started with
other.
that. Yeah, I started with that quote so that it
Yeah,
drives
I,
up the
I
subject.
noticed that. Yeah, it
So,
was quite a realization. I think it was quite good.
yeah.
So, like my recent novel was Cupid at Corporate, wherein I have
Uh,
talked about corporate couples. These relationships are brewing a lot at corporate. I myself am a product of Cupid at Corporate. I'm married to my husband, who was my colleague earlier. So,
Interesting.
what's your
Okay.
take on these relationships like blossoming
So
every
there
day?
are two kinds of. I think it's been there for a long time, and I run an organization, and I do see relationship blossoming amongst us, and I think the only thing that we do is we counsel them and to declare the relationships open, so that when people are placed in different positions, there's no conflict of interest. But that's one side of the account.
Yeah, there
But
is
when
another
you're when
side of coin too here. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so the other side of coin is that you are working together with somebody day in and day out. You either get disillusioned with the person or you fall in love with the person, right? I mean,
yeah.
it's an invariable process. And in the West, I think they have this concept of a office wife and office husband. I don't know if you have heard
Yeah,
that
I
one
have
before.
heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. it doesn't mean that you're in a relationship. It just means that,
You're spending a lot
that's
of
the
time. Yeah.
you're spending a lot of time with that person at work. So,
Yeah.
it's just that equation that has been built. It doesn't mean that you're having an affair. It's just that, the word was coined as such.
Mm.
I think I would love to read a book as well. I mean, my current relationship is Cupid at work as well too. So,
Oh, great.
in fact, my first relationship was also Cupid at work.
Okay.
It was Cupid at college, Cupid at work, both.
Okay.
I mean, the same
Okay.
relationship. So we
So I
ended
think
up,
you'll find it more relatable. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'll definitely catch up on read. So,
Please do that. Yeah, I'll be happy to see that. So, every relationship, it's not easy. There is chaos and then transformation. And as I've read the book, there's a lot of transformation happened. So, what's your take on, chaos leading to transformation and then being resilient in the overall narrative?
correct. So I think there's one thing that I have realized, and I take this page from my business, experience.
Yeah,
Whenever there is breakdown, there's a breakthrough.
breakthrough.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you'll always get a breakthrough when there's a breakdown.
yeah.
When things are going as normal, when everything is, as status quo, when there is no
Hunky-dory.
problem,
Yeah.
you're not going to come up with anything innovation. You're not going to come up with an innovation at work. Only when something starts failing or something not working as it should, then you start thinking of new ways of doing things, right? The same thing in a relationship. So when
Yeah.
there's chaos, when it's chaotic, I think you can actually take a step back and see what can be done differently,
Yeah.
right?
So I think adversity I believe, is a great opportunity to polish yourself, to make yourself a
Exactly.
better human being. Um, like in
Correct.
my life too, I lost my brother at an early age. So
I'm sorry. Yeah.
yeah, so it's been a lot of years now, but through that loss, I think I value life all the more. So it made me resilient to value this precious life all the more, to love more, to spread more happiness. So I think it
Correct.
does make us more resilient. And I think it's a opportunity in disguise, I would say. So,
Correct.
yeah. So have you
I think
been
it's a
writing
sorry.
forever? Sorry. So have you been
Sorry.
writing forever?
I've been writing ever since I was probably in the sixth or seventh grade,
Okay.
and I wrote my first poetry book in the ninth grade.
Okay. Okay.
But it's never been published. It was called Off Ink and Paper, which was also my first pen name when I started, posting on Instagram. But I never got around to publishing it. We lost most of it. There were 2 to 3 books, and I lost most of them. When you remember in Bombay, we had this floods,
Yeah.
and so we live in Juhu, and ours is a low.
Okay. Heavy
Where we
rain.
stayed, yeah, our domicile got completely flooded, and I lost a lot of papers there. I did
Oh,
manage to salvage some, but then that's like completely torn and tattered now, so it can't be retrieved. But we had a teacher a literature teacher who would encourage us to write. So we had this thing where we had to write a poem a day for 30 days. And that's
uh,
what got me started. So
okay.
that's really what got me started, you know.
Okay. Okay.
And
And you call
she was
yourself an accidental writer? You have been writing all along.
accident. Though, the reason why I'm saying accidental poet, maybe not writer, accidental author.
Author. Okay.
And so the reason is this, that I actually wrote another book first, which is the second book that I want to now publish, which is called
Okay.
Anywhere But Here. I spoke with and we met up with literary agents, and when it finally, I did not want to self-publish at first.
Mm-hmm.
So when I spoke with the agent, I think they said, who's Kalpesh Desai? You're not a you're not this, you're not a writer, you're not a poet. Nobody knows if you're an author. No publisher may take you. I said, okay. I said, what will it take? He says, if you had to sell 3,000 copies of a book and then come back to us, then maybe we will consider you. Now, selling, I know how to do. I'm sorry, like I'm in business, so I know how to sell. So the book was literally compiled November 2023 and launched on in mid of December.
Okay.
So literally in 1 month is when the book was compiled and published.
Okay. Great. So
Okay.
it's
So
it
this is
is
why, and I did it more out of, wanting to demonstrate that listen, I can do the self-publishing process, and then I will put in my muscle in, and my, I mean, I didn't know how to go to market with a book, but we figured it out, and I think with Book Nerds, we've done a very good job so far as well. So I think we managed to get, I think, close to around 5,000 books off the shelves and online in total
that's
between
tremendous.
America,
Yeah.
between Amazon US, Ingram, Notion Press in India, and with a local publisher in the Philippines. So I identified the largest markets. I took a business approach. I identified the largest reading markets, and I published in those markets. I signed a distribution agreement with a book distribution company in the Middle East, so that we had the books that were distributed in Virgin Megastore and other locations in Dubai and other regions. I think it did fairly well.
Wonderful. That
So,
seems to be
so
stupendous, having sold your book copies these many.
yeah, I
It's
did.
so
I
wonderful.
mean, if you, I've been known as one of the best salesperson there is. I'm not, beating my own trumpet, but if you tell me that, I mean, if you tell me you haven't sold a single book, I said, hello, that's not done. I will. So that was the target I took on, but I think it did
It's
reasonably well.
wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I've been associated with a literary agent, so my books now come through the book
A
bakers.
publisher.
Yeah,
Okay. The
he's
book
my
makers, is it? Okay.
yeah,
Very
it's
nice.
my literary agency, and I think book nerds are doing a wonderful job in promoting the books. And I'm also very satisfied with their work, and my books are coming
Sure.
with traditional publishing houses. So, yeah, but I think it's the onus is to the author to sell the books. Uh,
Correct.
and if you can do it well, nothing like it. And then, publishers also start identifying you, recognizing you, and the metal you have in selling your books, because that's a great challenge we have
Correct.
in the
Correct.
industry. Yeah, people are not
Correct.
reading books, physical books anymore. So we need to really accentuate that spirit, elevate that spirit of reading. So with that, I want to know from you, like, whom do you read? Who are your writing influences?
I think surprisingly enough, I think okay. So I mean, I'm fairly old school. So I do have the older poets that I would look up to. But I think in the Instagram community has been a massive support system, the poetry community on Instagram. I'm not sure if you follow, but I think it's a very strong. I think we're close to around almost 25, 30,000 poets on Instagram.
Mhm.
A lot
Mhm.
of authors out there as well. So I have found that the contemporary inspiration
Mhm.
has been enormous at
Mhm.
this stage
Whom do
today.
you read more? Like, whose work do you read more?
So I read business books more, to be very
Okay.
honest.
Okay.
So a great influence on my life has been with Goldratt and Netanyahu.
Okay.
The uh, theory of constraints, for example, the goal.
Okay. Okay.
Then
Okay.
so then I have so these are some of my influences rather than
Yeah,
poetry
it's
as a
absolutely
as
okay.
a
Yeah. I am from, like, I was in IT, professional. I was in IT for 10 years. I'm a
I see.
mathematician. Yeah.
I
So,
see.
yeah.
So I'm still IT.
So you are in IT?
Yeah, I'm in
Okay.
IT. I run the tech firm, no? So
Oh, lovely.
yeah,
So that's a great coincidence. So I think you can be everything. Yeah, you are multi-dimensional. A person has a beautiful range. All the navrasas should be there. It's not necessary that,
correct.
you are into business that you can't do softer, you can't enjoy softer things or sensitive things in life. A person has to have this, 360-degree personality. And I believe, I coming from an analytical background, I also did masters of softwares and everything. So now I am a full-time poet and writer, but I do enjoy both the sides of the spectrum, and I'm really loving it. So I think kudos to you that you are managing both sides very well
Thank
and
you.
enjoying this process. And I think I'm also writing another non-fiction now on
You are?
corporate. Applying practices, best practices in corporate. So I think it would be lovely to see
Hmm.
that progression. And your next book. So when is it coming? Your next book?
So my first three chapters are done. The I think Booknerds is pushing out the query letters at the moment.
Okay. Okay.
And I think the first three chapters are completely edited. So I have an
Great.
editor, called Nicole Elisa out of the US,
Okay.
who's assisted me in editing
So
the
the
book.
basic platform, the skeleton has happened. Now the it needs to
Oh
be.
yeah. I have got. I mean, I think the entire book is written out. It's just that the editing process, only the first three chapters are
It takes
complete.
time.
And I think the person at fault is me. I've been on the road now I mean, for business travel for quite some time. I think that's where Booknerds was complaining that they weren't able to get, my time. So it was,
No,
is that
really,
I hope that
Neha
by
and
May or
Rohan are
June,
really doing a wonderful job aiding the authors with a wonderful platform to promote their books, to
absolutely
bring their books to the world and share with the world.
correct,
So it
correct.
was, I
Yeah,
think we'll
I
conclude
get,
the conversation now. Yeah.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
have Neha nagging me. I mean, even as of last night, she's like, "You haven't posted that yet." I said, "I will do it. I'll do it. I'm sorry."
Yeah, these are the small little details and things
Right.
the authors need to do. So it was
Correct.
really lovely talking to you,
Absolutely a
conversing
pleasure.
with you, and discussing, the nuances and complexities and duties of life with you. And all the best for your next book. I really loved reading the first book, and I'm looking forward to the next work of yours, Kalpesh. It was really
Thank
lovely
you so very
connecting
much,
with
Meenakshi.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.